Hi-Fi Vega back again with another video. This time we're going over the top 5 tools that you need for car audio, and I'm going to include one bonus tool. So that'll be 6 overall. So right here we're starting with cutters, wire strippers, anything to do with your wire. Now I've got several different type of cutters. I've got these high leverage cutters right here, and these are really good for the bigger, double aught gauge or single 1/0 gauge, and these do a good job as well. These are the same thing, and they're not high leverage though, but they're really sharp, and you could get them to strip as well when you're cutting the 1/0. So you definitely, if you're going to be doing any kind of big gauge car audio, you need something like this. I recommend these just because overall, you get into the real big gauge stuff and it's a little bit easier. Although these do cut good, but I've actually had an issue with these where they come out of alignment a little bit, so can't really recommend these as much. Now another tool you're going to need is a pair of crimpers. Now these are for those small butt connectors and all the other type of little connectors you may come across or may have to use at some point. So you definitely want a pair of these instead of just using a pair of diagonal cutters to pinch it with. Alright, as far as strippers go, I've got 2 different kinds. Now, if you're going to get a pair of strippers, wire strippers like this, do not get the cheap ones like this. Get a decent pair. Klein makes some nice ones. Heck, Blue Point makes some. There's quite a few. S&K makes some really nice ones. So I'll leave a link to all these tools, and some of them will be Amazon affiliate links. But that way you can kind of see what I'm using, what I got. And if I don't find something similar, if I don't find the exact item, I will put something similar. Okay. Now these are my favorite pair of cutters. Now the way these kind of just adjust here by gauge on this little knob. But these cutters are very sharp. They work really well. And it's my favorite pair. I always use these. Oh, and this, including the cable cutters, which I didn't put them over there. This is a smaller pair that I just picked up, and this is nice if you're just going to use up to like 4 gauge wire. This is nice. It's compact and it's really easy to use, and it cuts really well. I hadn't tried to cut anything bigger than 4 gauge yet, but this gets a really nice cut. This is actually a German manufacturer. Okay, and then you're going to need a pair of diagonal cutters. Now this pair, I've had this pair for probably 15 years, and it was actually a cheap pair that I picked up, but they've held up really nice. And I just recently bought a smaller pair, and these are the German VH diagonal cutters too, and I hadn't got a chance to try these out yet, so maybe I'll put a review up later of these. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is screwdrivers, specifically precision type screwdrivers and security type screwdrivers. And this is, when you're getting into amps, sometimes you're going to need some specific bits to get into them and check them out. And then also, you're going to need a screwdriver for amp gains and stuff. This is one I just recently picked up, but you can use, I've got a set from Harbor Freight that I use. Those work really well. And I've got another precision set that I can use. And these mainly will be used for, there might be some kind of fasteners in your car or in your amp or something like that where you need some of these specialty bits. So it's good to have one of these sets. Okay, the next thing you're gonna need is a multimeter. And I don't own an expensive multimeter, but these, you could get this for free with a coupon at Harbor Freight, and it works perfectly fine for everything I've used it for. Now, if you can afford a Fluke or something like that, pick one of those up. Those are really nice, and they're very accurate. But for car audio purposes and what I use it for, these little units are more than what I need. So you need one of those. Like I said, try to pick something like this at Harbor Freight with a free coupon when you're already out there buying something else, and it'll do you just fine. Okay, number 4 on the list is some sort of drill. Now, you don't really need this type. This is a impact drill. I mean, there's limited uses that you're gonna use this for in car audio. So if you're gonna get any drill at all, just get a regular cheap drill. I've had this like 3 or 4 years, and I've replaced an old skill saw with it, and skill saw drill, that is. And you know, it works good. You don't need nothing expensive. Something like this works perfectly fine. Just come with 2 batteries. It was around $60. But a drill is much more versatile in car audio than an impact driver. Even though these impact drivers are really fun, they're really cool, I just got this. But if you just need one, you need a drill. And you know, feel free to get one as nice as you can afford. And if you are gonna get one, you know, Milwaukee's make some decent ones. Makita probably makes some of the best in the business. But included, I'm kind of sneaking this in under drills, is that you need a good set of drill bits. You know, some of the sets come with, you know, 3 or 4. You need a whole range of bits. This one ranges from 1/16 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch. Now that'll get you pretty far, but you can use, you know, you may need a bigger drill bit than this even, and you may even have to go into some paddle bits. But something like this will be perfect just to get you started. Okay, here's number 5, and it's soldering irons. Now, you're really gonna want 2 of these. You don't need all 3, but you need at least 2. And I mean, I'm gonna say you need at least 2, but you really don't. The soldering station is really nice when you're working on the bench, and you can use some helping hands to solder some wires together. Now, when you're in a car, I like to use this butane soldering iron right here. It comes with a nice little selection of tips in it, you know, that you can use. That's really nice. But they also have, I've picked up this little Weller battery powered soldering iron. Now, this is the last option I would choose. I would definitely choose a butane soldering iron over the little battery powered ones, because these take a very long time to heat up, and they're a lot tougher to use. I picked this up because I wanted to try it out, but I wouldn't really recommend this. But definitely a butane. These soldering irons work really well. They get hot fast, and you don't have to mess with them. You can be in a car, working, soldering, getting everything done. Now, when you really want to get some soldering done, this is when you use the soldering station. You got a temperature control here. You got power on and off. You can, you know, a little sponge here to clean out. So that's what when you really want to get serious soldering done, you're going to want a soldering station of some sort. This is a cheap unit. I think I paid less than $20 for this. And again, I'll add a link in the description to something similar and the exact item if I can find it. Okay, now this is my bonus item. If you're working with larger gauge, you know, even 4 gauge, 8 gauge, having a crimp is really nice, like a hammer crimp or even a hydraulic crimp. Now these are gonna set you back anywhere from about $15 to $25, and these work really well. I mean, I've got a test where I've tested this compared to the hydraulic, and it did really well. I'll link it in the description so you can check that out if you want. But this kind of crimp works really well. And this hydraulic crimp is probably my new favorite tool. This thing really, I mean, you get an excellent crimp out of this. Now, it's a little more of a chore to use, but the good thing is you can use it like if you already got some wires in a car and you don't want to pull them out. You know, the hammer crimp, you kind of need a flat surface somewhere where you can really let go with the hammer and get a nice crimp on there. But these, if you can fit this head in there, I mean, you could get in there and you could crimp in tight spots. So, and I think it's a better crimp. From the test that I've done, I think it's a better crimp. So that's my bonus item. You know, if there's any other tools that I left out that are absolutely necessary, put them in the comments, and you know, maybe I'll update this to top 10 or top 15s.